So let's kick off with some introductions for those that want to be familiar or those who don't care but do care. So I'll start off. I'm Justen Noll. I say a lot. I used to be better at that, but ever since I started doing these Zoom recordings, the ums have come back frantically.
I'm Alex Sales. I'm a student at Portland State University, going to film school. Um, I guess I'm adapting your ums right now as I'm realizing it. um,
I am Tim TK. I am the associate editor at Silverline Comics. In regards to JN Films, I most recently acted in the short film Writer's Block.
Alex, ready to kick it off?
yep. I just start at the very, very top.
Yep, with the title and
Okay.
my name. And feel free to go after you say my name, go, ugh. I do that every time.
Poppy, written by Justen Noll. Act 1. Cemetery. Poppy in the dark attire wanders like a ghost until she reaches his grave.
A place in this place that remains with his remains. In place, in this place. A buried figure. Go figure.
Scene 2. Bedroom, clean. Poppy in center, in solitude, huddled, remaining in the dark attire.
Our place in this place.
Scene 3. Bedroom, mirror. Poppy washes off her makeup, her mascara leaking down her face.
A shared dream. Just a dream.
Scene 4. Bedroom, Poppy lying on the bed. She looks upon a notepad resting in front of her, the poem she wrote on it. Scene 5. Bedroom, lying on the bed. We only see her.
Hey, Poppy,
Yeah,
we should go to the beach.
I'm not feeling that great.
We'll get away from the night. You'll feel better. I promise.
Act 2. Scene 6. Scenic drive. We see the road pass by.
On the flow of tar and stone.
Scene 7. Scenic drive. Poppy drives. Her eyes dart around, semi-invigorated.
To the air. My eyes dart up.
Scene 8. Scenic drive. Poppy drives. We only see her.
The drive alone is worth it.
Yeah, it is.
Short pause.
Oh, oh my God. You're glimmering, Poppy.
Poppy tries to fight back a smile, but it shines through. Scene 9. Scenic drive. Poppy drives. Noticeably upset.
In the ground, my heart rests now.
Scene 10. Parking lot by the beach. Poppy looks onto the beach with somber, watery eyes. She is holding on to her notepad, with the words threaded along the open pages. Act 3. Scene 11. Beach. Poppy nears the sand, observing as she approaches. Scene 12. Beach. Poppy crouches, intently looking onto the surf, writing in her notepad.
I see waves. Waves of gold. Golden days. Days far away.
Scene 13. Beach. Poppy walks along the shoreline, holding her shoes, letting the surf flow over her feet.
I see waves. Waves of bliss. Bliss. Moments. Moments of we.
Scene 14. Beach. Poppy grabs handfuls of sand and lets the grains seep through her fingers.
I see waves. Waves of memories. Memories of two. Two that were.
Scene 15. Back seat. Poppy sits. We only see her. She sneezes.
Bless you.
Thanks. I think the salt air is blowing up my sinuses. Oh, I'm allergic to everything.
You could be coming down with something.
Honey, even alpacas make me sneeze.
Poppy smiles and chuckles. Scene 16. Beach. The light begins to recede, leaving Poppy to herself, observing the entire shore. Act 4. Act 4. Scene 17. Hotel room. Poppy enters, observes, intakes, and settles in. Scene 18. Hotel room. Poppy sits on the bed.
Isn't this great?
I love it.
Pause.
Poppy.
Scene 19. Hotel room. Bathroom. Poppy's reflection slowly removes. Sorry. Poppy's reflection slowly removes her makeup.
Ashes. Sensing dust. A mask of powder.
Scene 20. Hotel room. Bed. She lies on her side, observing the void on his side.
Remnants. A thought. A few. How few.
Scene 21. Hotel room. Bed. She sits in the center, crisscross, aggressively writing the words.
Turmoil. Ignites me. Burning. And more.
Scene 22. Hotel room. Poppy sits by the window, looking out into the night. A blanket is wrapped around her.
Alone? Yes, alone. Wandering. What's to come?
Act 5. Scene 23. Hotel room. Morning. Bed. Poppy on her side. We only see her.
Will you always be here with me?
I can't. Not always.
Scene 24. Hotel room. Morning. Poppy gets up and throws herself together. Scene 25. Poppy puts her stuff in the car and looks upon the beach. Scene 26. Poppy slowly paces the beachfront. Scene 27. Poppy sits in the sand. She pulls out a tissue and wipes her nose.
There must be alpacas on this beach or something.
She laughs. She does not see her husband.
Honey? Honey? Honey?
Audio fades out. Poppy frantically searches and breaks on the beach. Scene 28. She heads back towards her car. Scene 29. Beach. She lies on the sand, her head rested on its side. She fiddles with something in her hand. Those images pop up as she recites in the driver's seat of her car. Audio fades back in.
And I hold within my hand grains of the golden sand. How few, yet they creep through my fingers to the deep. While I weep, while I weep.
Scene 30. Scenic drive. She tries to get the somber gaze out of her eyes. She turns on the radio to hear an oldie, but a goodie. She eventually becomes enamored and smiles. She looks towards the passenger seat and then looks back towards the road.
Today I wake, driving the same roads I used to drive, with a new destination in mind.
Thank you both for buying into that. It's a really, it's easy. It's an easy one to say, oh my gosh, Justin, another really sad movie. And I just feel so sad.
How recently did you break up before you wrote this?
I actually didn't go through a breakup. I don't know. I just I just had a vivid sense of this character, even though I hadn't been through this experience before. Kind of going back to the buy-in for a second, like buying into something like this, like is like a really one of the more effective scripts that have been produced so far. And basically that just reminds me of like Robin. She fully committed herself to that role.
Yeah.
And she did so dang good with scene 23, like talking about like, will you always be here with me? I can't not always want to record that audio. I felt bad for since she recorded that with her husband Jason, and they were just like really feeling that. And I just was like, oh, I feel so sorry. But at the same time, I'm like, this is good. This is so good. Just the commitment on a lot of levels with this project was amazing.
I remember you talking about it, I think, because this is the one that you actually rented out a beach house for, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember you mentioning that. I was like, oh, hey, that's pretty cool.
We didn't really get to shoot anything outside the first day. Like we only had like an hour and a half window the second day, and the last day we were there because it was just thunderstorms, lightning, snow, rain.
This is gonna break the like, we have to go back.
We can't do that.
Let's go where we can.
Okay.
Oh,
Ow!
The Oregon
did not
coast.
cooperate.
As soon as you get there, it's like, welcome.
Yep. Yeah.
Well,
I loved how Alex said he wasn't too confident in his reading and got the role that had the most reading.
yeah. Well, part of me was like, I need to just choose something, and I was like, all right, that it's the first thing I see.
Oh, that was very good.
Thank you. You did good on keeping the rhythm there, though. That was
Yeah,
definitely...
dang, Tim. You're too dang.
Today?
Yeah.
I don't know, like with the even know that there's only really ever like 3 words per line of the poem. Something I kind of liked is that each line actually has meaning to it, which I'm sure if I plopped this down in a film analysis class, it would have a heyday with all that.
There's probably like 3 different writing pieces where I was like really sad when it was done and when I was done with the project, because it's like losing a best friend. I was like with Poppy for like a month and a half, and like as like my best friend for like that time, and I was so bummed when we were done, like in a sense, because I'm just like, oh, but the good thing is that I didn't hold on to Poppy, and Poppy's out in the world. I remember talking with somebody, and they were sharing that they went through a similar experience and are a widow, and at a decently young age, and that was, and some of the stories they were sharing with me were like really just impactful and similar to what Poppy was going through, and they just were, were happy to got that, with how it was represented, and that was super cool.
I would say sensitive issue, yeah. Like with it, like for somebody, if they were to read this, or watch it, and they might get a little stab of the heart. But I don't think it wouldn't be a stab out of offensiveness. It would be a stab out of like, this does hit a nerve in the sense like you did it correctly.
It resonates, yeah.
At the Jane Films 50 film celebration, it was, Poppy and Lullaby were packed together. I tore everyone's hearts out with those. That was very clear. So glad writer's block came after that. So like we got to laugh. We got to have a good time.
Writer's block is a trip.
If I want to show someone some comedic stuff, I actually think I always go back to the writer's block, because that was just Nathan, and that is fantastic. Like what was like? Did you have an initial vision with Poppy, and then did it ever change through it, or?
It was funny enough, Poppy, like I had the poems, and that came around with the character, and Poppy was gonna be like a vibrant, energetic film, like and a vibrant, energetic person, and enigmatic hyper figure. Then the story in her like almost life, because I basically I got to know like kind of who she was and everything, and the segment of her life that kind of stood out was what became on film. And I'm like, I fought it for like weeks, because I'm like, no, she's supposed to be energetic and lively and creative, but this is not, that the story doesn't represent that.
Even the way the way you wrote the character and kind of the there's definitely implied emotion. I felt like reading through the script. And even though she may not have come off as kind of bouncy, there is a kind of melancholy or a melancholic contentness where she's come to terms with her life, even though she's not quite ready to accept that she has with herself. So that's kind of leading to that balance between like, okay, here's this thing I'm writing, here's me making do with things, but it's harder for the brain to connect where the heart is already.
She's accepted that he's gone, but hasn't fully accepted that she's by herself.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
two big issues within her life. And you can see the energetic person that Poppy wants to be, especially with the alpaca jokes and stuff.
Right, like, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like she wants to be that, and she wants that normalcy, but she just doesn't have it at this point in time, and that's important.
Kind of, Alex, what was the initial kind of driving factor for you to want to do this script in terms of doing the live reads?
Well, I just know that Poppy was always one of my favorite short films that JN Films has done, next to Lullaby and Writer's Block, which we've mentioned here already. But I feel like they're like the trifecta of different of certain emotions, where you have like Writer's Block, you have this comedic kind of side that like drums you up, and you're like, yeah, I love this. This is great, good, energetic. And then you have Lullaby, which is a lot more slow, but still has a kind of like nice, adorable, kind of like feels good stuff. And it just slowly, it's like a gradient where it transitions into Poppy, where you have that still melancholy feel, but it's or like a slowness feel, but then it drops into sadness. I feel like it's like the end of that kind of emotional ride. And so I've always kind of liked that if you put those three together, you can get a whole range of emotions there.
Now, Tim, do you have any a inspiring wisdom to share with us to end this?
Yeah, so something we talked about on my works podcast on Wednesday, and I think it contributes to all lines of creative work. We were talking about inkers and how they make a page, and all that fun stuff. But when it comes to short film, I think everyone thinks about making a film or doing something creative, but they don't necessarily have the motivation to just do it or accept that it's going to be bad. But you got to accept that there is such a principle as the 1,000-hour principle. You're only a master of something after you spend 1,000 hours on it. And when you're looking at something like this, you could think about it. You're only a master of something after you've done like 1,000 films or 1,000 scenes. And in order to get a scene 1,000, you got to make scene 1 first. So really, the only thing that's on your back is you. So it doesn't have to be the greatest. You're not going to be David Lynch from the get-go, but just make your first turd of a scene and keep on going from there.
And I know a thing or two about turds.
Hero Unknown HD release 2023.